Here's a piece of vinyl I'm going to have to install one of these days. I just stepped on a hard-shell bug. So we go to work Monday, and we get taken into the office, and they say, hey, we have something very important to tell you. And that's exactly how they told us. Anyway, the office that I work in, post office that is, we process the mail. And we have the machines that actually sort the mail. So a couple of years ago, they told us that we were one of the offices that they were going to consolidate, which means they're going to close our office down for processing and move that operation over to another processing facility. And then all of a sudden, the 2012 election year came around, and they were like, oh, well, we can't have all these unionized, disgruntled, unemployed postal workers running around loose on the streets. So they closed down a few smaller offices around the country and left open most of the medium to large offices that they originally planned to close. Well, now that the election cycle's over and we're kind of in this who gives a crap about midterm election cycle, and they figured, now's a good time to reinstitute those closures for the medium and larger offices. We're going to close next year, sometime between January and the fall mailing season. So that's just great. I don't know, in your mid-50s, and you've given them 17 plus years, and well, we just don't need you anymore. Just get dragged in one day and say, here's a pink slip, have a nice day. You know, it's nothing new. It's people have gone through this before. Of course, it's entertaining to read in the history books, and it's it's so bad. You know, bless their heart for the people who happen. You know, the other guy, when it happens to him, it's like, you know, really feel bad for the guy. What's on TV tonight? And then when it happens to you, you're like, whatever happens, happens. You roll with the changes. Let's see what this time next year. Hopefully my YouTube channel will take off and I'll be making my living making videos. Bad chance of that. I figured, hey, since the office is going to be closed in the next few months, and I've got a crap load of leave built up, I figured I'd take some. So the next 4 days I've got off to celebrate the 4th of July holiday. Yay. But mostly to get more vinyl put up on the house. I stepped outside to go to work this afternoon, and my neighbor behind me, she's out there putting some stain on her picket fence. She has a wood picket fence. And the stain that was on there was several years old and quite faded, so she decided the time was right to put some new stain on. And of course I commented, hey, nice job, looks good. And she said, oh, your house is looking good too. Now, they're fairly new neighbors. They moved in, I think, late last summer, or maybe about this time last year, something like that. Really nice people, retired couple. I said, well, this project's kind of dragged on a little too long. I said, I started this in June of 2012. And I got this look from her like, what are you, a deadbeat? And yeah, pretty much. You know, she said, well, I'm putting this on here on the outside to make it look really good for my neighbors. And just so happens that the back of my garage faces their house, and I don't have a stitch of new vinyl on it. So there's all this nice faded, weatherboarded siding facing her. And I said, well, hopefully in the near future, I'll have this side of the house looking better for my neighbors. What? So, huh? As evidenced by the lack of content on the channel. And honestly, when you get to be about a certain age, you know, when you're 18, it's like, oh, will this day ever end? And then when you're in your 50s, it's like, where did the year go? Minutes and seconds seem like they last forever, and then the next thing you know, you look up and the calendar's flying by like the second hand on a clock. You know, here it is July already, and I just put the Christmas tree up like last week. No, that was 3 months ago. And I looked up the other day and I thought, holy crap, I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. Not that anybody really cares, but if you're going to try to do something, you might want to kind of stick with it just a little bit. I got lightning bugs on the ceiling. They look like they're sleeping. I should be sleeping. No, I'm making a video. Here's one for you. Cobwebs in the workshop.
A shop consumed with cobwebs.
Here's another one. Sawdust on the stool.
Sawdust on the stool, indicating that something was sawn here.
Miscellaneous hardware on the bench top.
A pile of miscellaneous hardware.
And just a gratuitous badge scene of the side of an F-150. Now, if I took what I just said and put that in a string of video, people were like, what in the world is he talking about? But now that I've told you that there's going to be little clips put in between what I said, hell, it'll make perfect sense. Or not. I'm having a bad hair day. Probably ought to wrap this up. Oh, I got new glasses, by the way. See, they're super thin. They need to be clean. Let's see. Have we covered all the bases? No videos in the last couple of weeks. Plant's closing down by this time next year, probably. Going to try to make a living making YouTube videos. Oh, you just kill me sometimes. And that'll do it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs up. We thank you for watching, and please tune in again. Cut. That's it. That's a wrap. Cut it.